morning and welcome to Life on the Moose. You know, 12 hours ago, I was determined that we were going to finish up this subfloor sheathing. But something has happened between then and now. I got a phone call last night from my dirt guy. Remember the backfill that we were supposed to put around this house? Oh, 2 months ago or so? He's on his way. In fact, I think I can hear his truck coming from the valley right now. I don't know exactly how many loads it's going to take. I'm thinking 4 or 5. So we're just going to start dumping and see what happens. I'm going to do all the detail with the Kubota tractor. So it's going to take me a while to go back and forth with that little bucket. But we'll get it done. That's going to be cheaper than me renting an excavator or paying an operator. That's for sure. My motto on this build has been, I have just a little bit more time than I do money. But I don't have much of either. So that's why I'm taking every step I can to save a dime here or there. So I did manage to get a little more work done while you weren't looking. Another row and a half of sheathing, basically another row and a half. So maybe at the end of this episode, we'll get a little bit more finished up, but I know we're not going to finish up the sheathing in this one. So this is going to be a big transformation. Basically all around the house where you see in black, most of that black will be covered up. And that's going to be nice when it comes to lifting up materials and getting up on that deck. So I'm looking forward to having this done. It's only 5:45, so I'm still working on my coffee. But I'll let you know when the truck gets here. Okay, we have a pile of dirt. Based on the size of this, I think we're gonna need 5 or 6 of those. So it's gonna be a lot of dirt to haul in, but we have to do what we have to do. I need at least 2 feet around the whole perimeter and almost 3 feet on these 2 sides. So let's fire up the little orange beast and move some dirt. Okay, we have 2 loads in the books. Check it out. It's not going very far. I have to build up around to the outside first before I get close to the inside of the foundation, just so I don't have too much of a terrible slope. Those tractors have a fairly low center of gravity, but it still gets top heavy pretty quickly. So if this is 2 loads, goodness. It may be 7 or 8 loads, who knows? But we have to do it We have to get that drainage right away from that house. So unfortunately, I have to go get the rake and the shovel and do a little bit of handwork. I can't get in these tight areas with the tractor. So I guess we have to do it the old-fashioned way. So if you want to grab the shovel, I'll take the rake and we'll just smooth everything off. All right, I'll do it. Okay, this is load 3. Luckily, it's coming from town right there. The town that you see on video. So it's not too far. It takes just over an hour round trip. But nothing's fast in this build, so get used to it. I mean, you didn't have anywhere to go for the next 2.5 years, right? I didn't think so. Okay, load number 4 is on its way. We're gonna put that one right here. This is gonna be one of the bigger transformations. In essence, most of that bucket will be underground, especially that side of the bucket. And the dirt will be tapered up to about the bottom of that shrub right there. So I'm gonna have him put this load right there. And then I'll aim for that black line and see what we get. Probably gonna take 2 loads just on this side, I'm guessing. number 6 right there. Have a little bit of number 5 left over. I'll fill that in once we have the water line finished up and that electrical line dug. And I think I have enough right there for that corner. So this will do most of this side right here, I think. But we have 6 loads so far. I told him to bring 6 more. It's a lot more than I thought. Okay, we have number 7 right here, and we have number 8 over there. As soon as we finish these 2, I am done for the day. And then tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, he's gonna drop off 4 more loads. That's a total of 12. Wow, was I wrong with my estimate? Holy cow. But I touched up this final grade right here. This is about what it's gonna look like. Well, minus the rock that's gonna be on top of here, the gravel. That's the slope we want away from the foundation. It's gonna come out about 6 feet, and this hillside is gonna slope down to that area about 6-8 feet away from the foundation. This side will be similar, but we also will have a concrete pad there in front of the front door. Well, let's finish this up right now, and then tomorrow we'll finish up the last 4 loads, and then we'll work on the house. There's still a few things I'd like to get finished in this episode so that we can finish the sheathing once and for all next episode. Does that make sense? Okay, good. I almost fell out of my seat. Here, let me show you what's going on. Looks like there is a pin that goes through here. Sorry about the shadow. And comes out right there. Well, it's supposed to come out right there. I think a little cotter key, one of those little clip things came off of this end, I hope. I think I can just feed it right through there. Let's try to do that. There we go. Hey! Now it's poking through. Right there. Okay, now I need to find a piece of wire or something. I don't have an extra one of those spring steel clips to put in there, so I'm just going to use this wire. Not sure what gauge it is. It's probably not good enough, but I'll monitor that. Put a little bend in there for one side. Okay. Well, it works until it won't. Good morning. It is almost 6 o'clock, the following day since I've seen you. Load number 9. Check it out. Yeah, I made a faux pas the other day. I had to go to town and I didn't bring my diesel containers. So I am running on about this much diesel right now. Hopefully I can get this load distributed before the truck gets back. But speaking of truck, I asked the truck driver if he could pick up 5 gallons of diesel for me while he was down in his shop picking up gravel or picking up dirt. So he's gonna do that. Now that is customer service. I appreciate that. So we are gonna get a total of 12 loads, maybe 13. And that's it. No more than 13 for sure. This is getting out of hand. I realize that a lot of the beginning of this video is sped up, but I think that's the best way to watch me hauling dirt and distributing dirt and raking dirt. I don't want you to get bored, so I'll do what I have to do. So as you can see, this is the last load right here. It's going to go into that corner over there. And then we have the rest of them primarily on the south side, the high side of the house. Okay, it's been a long time coming, but our backfill is finished up. Check it out. I'm happy about that. I'm thrilled about being able just to take a step and walk right up onto that deck. That's nice. How many loads? That is load 13 right there. Goodness gracious. That is going to be used basically to backfill that pit over there where we have to hook up to the water line. That and maybe to build up in front of the front a little bit, the front door. I am stoked about this. So this is what it looks like finished. I may have to take a little bit more out right in front of that door. We are going to get a door there, and it's probably going to have some door trim in the bottom. So we may have to take, an inch or two of dirt away and just maintain that slope. No big deal. And the way it was, I was having to reach up here on this wall. Now look at that. I'm happy about that because we're going to be working on this wall. Like right now, that's the first thing we're going to do. I've been contemplating the last couple of weeks, really, how to approach this with both insulation and access. We have one more joist here. This is more than 16. I want to say this is like 17 and a half inches between the two. And instead of having it on 16 layout from this side, we're actually going to set it over here somewhere, get it out of the way from this end. Because if we tighten it up right here, then this is going to be impossible to access for any reason in the future. And speaking of access, what I'd like to do with this inside rim board is cut access panels into it. This is primarily, I call it a rim board. It's used as blocking, if you will, a way to hold that inside shear wall down to the foundation. So that doesn't mean I can't have accesses here. So between these hangers, these clips right here, I'm going to cut a space so that you're able to get your hand in there, get electrical up in there, and do what we need to do. I think that'll be the best of both worlds. There's no handbook here, so I have to wing it and do what I think is going to be best. And I think this is going to be best. So there's several little details down there I'm going to take care of before we do anything else. And we have to before we can extend these last sheets all the way to the end. So the first item up for bid will be taking care of those access ports, those holes in that interior rim joist down there. Okay, the biggest reason I want to allow access here or provide an access is probably for electrical. I'm thinking we're going to want an outlet on this wall on the inside somewhere, and then probably a light on the outside of the building, outside of this big opening right here. So I think this is just going to be the better place to do it. Have a big hold down bolt right here, and big hole down bolt right here. That's basically the close to the ends of this wall that's going to be here. So I'm going to put this access close to the middle of that wall. And hopefully that will provide all the access that any utility person will need. I hope. Let's see if we can do this upside down. Okay, well it worked. Kind of awkward, but this side is taller, so I have to do it from the top. Okay. Well, that plate explains why this wouldn't cut very easy. All right, looks like I need a new wood blade there. These two rim joists right here are not lined up. Let's put a little piece of blocking here just to make sure we can tighten all this up before we put sheathing on it. Okay, let's finally install that last joist. Okay, we need 242 3/4. Oh shoot. Let's lower that, should we? Okay, I want to leave just enough gap so that you're able to put your hand in here to get insulation in here from below. So where does that leave us? That looks about right. And I think you can still get utilities in here, whatever you need, I believe. So let's do 16 from outside out to outside. I think that'll work. Make sure this planes out okay. Okay, that's perfect right there. That's a skosh low. That's a little bit lower than I want. I might throw a shim under there. Ah, this is high. What the heck? I don't want that. Yes. Oh, it's just a little bit high right there. I guess I'm gonna plane that. Let's put a small shim here and one in the middle, and then plane this off and we'll be good. All right, let's go ahead and pin this side down because we know we're good here. We need to lift this one, oh, 1/8 of an inch maybe. Okay, that looks good. Just a little bit of sag in there. Not that much, huh? Perfect. Ah, there we go. That's all it took. Good to go. So I mentioned earlier that I wanted to finish these 3 rows all the way to this end in this episode. But in order to do that, we have to insulate this little bay here because there's no way to get into it, especially in this middle section. Nowhere near where I made the cutouts here. So this is going to be a tough one. I'm going to use a combination of some leftover fiberglass insulation, and I'm also going to use some foam spray here to get in around these bolts, because there's just no way to tuck stuff in that tight. So I'm going to take this, put it in there around these bolts as much as I can, and then stuff that insulation in. And I know you're not supposed to stuff it and compact it or you lose all your insulation value. So I'm going to gently put that in there as best as I can. So I think with a combination of those 2 methods, I'll be able to get this pretty dang good. May not be perfect, but what house is? So my end pieces are going to be 6 feet and 2 feet. So let's cut a couple of those. Now I need to rip 6 inches off of this length right here. Oh, I'm on to the new tubes of glue, by the way, of adhesive. I mentioned I installed those 5 sheets without you knowing it. And I used some of that older glue that had been left outside in the sun, and then I got cool again, and that totally ruined it. It came out of the tube almost with a skin on it, so that was no good. So word of the wise, don't get this stuff super hot and then cold again. It's not going to work out for you. Not too shabby. Okay, that's it. Got a little housework done. We finally have that last joist installed, finally. And we have a lot of backfill done. I'm happy about that. This makes life a lot easier having this backfill finished up. So come back next week. Oh, before I sign off, I wanted to thank Susan. Susan, thank you very much. Susan made a donation to the channel, and I really appreciate that. Speaking of donations, I have people ask me how to donate. Well, I do have a link to a PayPal account on my homepage. I have it kind of buried. You have to look for it. I don't advertise it. I have had a couple people ask me if I'm going to do a Patreon account. So I might do that, but I don't know. You know, I'm not one to ask for money. That's the big deal. But what would you want in trade? I mean, what would you want in return for something like that? An extra video a month? You want to see videos more about my personal life or stuff off of the moose or stuff unrelated to building or cooking? I don't know. If you have any ideas for something like that, let me know. I would appreciate that. Well, let's see if we can get this subfloor wrapped up next episode. We have a lot to do. We still have to deal with that interior shear wall again, kind of like the one over there we did at first. But we'll get there. One day at a time, one step at a time, 2 steps forward, half a step back, something like that. We'll get there eventually. Thank you very much for watching Life on the Moose. I appreciate it. Until next week, you take care of yourself. I'll see you soon.